We are chatting with Keith Morrison, who has a big podcast coming out today, Keith, February 16th.
Indeed.
Of course, it's the story we've all been following here in Eastern Idaho. Tell me about Mommy Doomsday.
Well, Nate, it's a story you know very well, a story that you have been instrumental in helping us follow for the past year. This is just such a strange and remarkable tale with events which have occurred within it that people find it hard to believe. And then yet another thing will happen, which is equally hard to believe, or even more so. Among stories to cover, this is one of those stories where you go, well, duh, of course you do a podcast on Mommy Doomsday, which is what they've decided to call it, because it's just such an unbelievable story.
6-part series, at least for now.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 parts dropped today, and then over the next 4 weeks, the other parts will come out. I would imagine because there's still so many unanswered questions with this story, Keith. More parts.
Things are happening. Yes, we could release it all on day one, but what would we miss? So I think everybody gets to follow the story a little bit this way, because we do expect things to happen over the course of the next few weeks.
Now, you started, if I remember right, your broadcasting career in radio, didn't you?
I did, yes.
So just kind of going back to your roots?
In a way it is, yeah. And it is freeing to the extent that you don't need to worry about what your pictures are going to be. You just tell the story and you can, you can string it out for as long as you want to. The time constraints of television are really terrible. Everybody who works in television knows that everything that's ever been written is too long. You have to cut it down, cut it down, cut it down. One of the advantages of a podcast is you can let the story breathe. You can go down all the rabbit holes. You can, you can delve into the mysteries that you simply don't have time for in a television story, even one that runs for a couple of hours. So this is a luxury.
Does anything surprise you anymore? Like with this story, you've covered so many stories over the years. Have you kind of just sat back and said, just wait for it to unfold, or are there still things that take your breath away and leave you perplexed?
Human beings are capable of they're capable of bizarre, terrible things and wonderful things. I mean, the scope of what you can expect a human to do, it's almost beyond describing. But I have reported other stories where things like what's happened in this one have occurred. It's just that there are so many of these things in this one story. So it's probably unique in that respect. It's just so out there.
The other big Keith Morrison news is the thing about PAM.
Oh, yes.
If you haven't listened to that podcast or watched the show, that's another jaw-dropping episode, and it's being turned into a movie.
It is, and Renee Zellweger has stepped up and actually, I think, wanted to be in it, and certainly we're more than happy about that. But that's another story where it was just bizarre and strange, and curious things happened, and then more curious things happened. Interesting that when we made the announcement that it was going to be a movie and that Renee Zellweger would be in it, all of a sudden, kaboom, the podcast is back up in the top 10 again.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Well, I'm sure people are gearing up for it. And they should be gearing up for another Dateline coming up here in a few weeks with some updated, fresh material, all show on the Daybell case. Anything you want to say about that?
Well, thank you for your help with it, and we continue to work on the story. We're following all the developments, and have delved a little deeper into the backstories of some of the people who, have been victims in this case or have participated in one way or the other. It's a way of trying to understand who these people are, who they all are, what led them down this path, how they all came together. You know what's interesting about it is that there are patterns that get repeated that you wouldn't know if you hadn't kind of looked deeper into the backgrounds and the pasts of these characters. That's been fascinating.
We'll look forward to that show. And I do have to say, on a personal note, that between everything Keith is doing, he took time to talk to my daughter several months ago and answer 7 questions, and it has over 100,000 views. And you told her that you have a chocolate chip cookie nearly every night after dinner. So she has been asking for a chocolate chip cookie nearly every night after dinner. So thank you.
I'm sorry. What can I say?
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful habit, don't you think?
Yes, not a bad habit. Thank you, Keith. We'll look forward to the podcast. Again, check it out wherever you get your podcasts, along with the upcoming Dateline and the Thing About Pam movie coming up too.
Thank you, Nate.